Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa. I am a nurse at Northwestern. I also teach yoga. Thank you so much for joining us for the Yin style class. This will be a 30-minute flow that I will guide you through. Yin is a little bit slower pace, holding poses for longer lengths of time. We'll go ahead and get started. All you need is a mat. It's a perfect time to do some yoga. Find a nice seated position on your mat with your legs crossed. If you need some more support throughout the class, you can always fold your mat or even place blankets if you're finding any discomfort. The goal of Yin is to always find some comfort and extra support. I'm a huge fan of props and utilizing them. So get curious and allow yourself to use some support throughout class today. Place your palms on top of your thighs. Inhale, closing your eyes. And exhale, gently releasing. Sealing your lips now, inhale and exhale through your nose as you find the pace of your own rhythm, your own breathing pattern, and maybe try to tap in to start to lengthen each inhale and exhale to match so that it is the same amount of time for each one. Release any tension in the shoulders. Allow your shoulder blades just to drop down your back. Allow your jaw to loosen, unclenching. Picture the middle of your forehead where your brow is. Just loosening and relaxing. Almost feeling as if that frontal lobe of your brain is just letting go of any thoughts, tension. Feel the nice sturdy support below your seat. I encourage you to set an intention for your Yin practice today. One that I'll be using throughout class is this essence of being present. As we celebrate Nurses Week this year, so often we're always looking for the next goal, looking for the next accomplishment, the skill. And we cheat ourselves of the present moment. We're always looking for the next advancement, the next treatment, the next day. So really allowing yourself to come back to this place and this breath whenever you find your mind start to wander or speed ahead, and steel yourself of that joy in this current present space. Gently start to wiggle your fingers, sending some movement through your body. Keeping your eyes closed here, gently start to circle your head in a circular motion, feeling a nice stretch in your neck without forcing. And then start to reverse your circle in the opposite direction. Today in our class, we're going to really focus on our hamstrings and our lower back. How fitting for Nurses Week. We're sending all the most love to those areas of our body. Start to open your eyes, bring your gaze to a few feet in front of you on the floor. When we're ready, you can gently start to release your legs from the seated crossed position. Bring them straight out in front of you. Finding a nice tall seated position, so finding some length in your side ribs, in your side cage, and bringing that navel into your spine. You might feel like you're almost puffing your chest up, right? Because we're finding some nice length. And then gently start to reach forward. Goal is towards our toes, right? But this is our first forward fold, so be gentle with yourself. If you can't quite reach your toes, placing your palms on your shins is just enough. So finding a nice gentle stretch in a forward seated fold. We have a tendency to just collapse forward whenever we do these folds. I encourage you to have an open chest. Maybe flexing your toes towards your face, you can really start to wake up your calf muscles. Bringing your left foot in towards the right side of your thigh for this kind of straddled position here. Inhale, arms lengthen overhead. Exhale, twisting through the core, and then reaching towards your right toes. Again, if your shin is where you're at, finding a nice stretch in the right hamstring. Holding it here for a few breaths. Maybe really feeling this left side body open. Find a nice strength and length. As you start to twist your chest towards your center line, towards the left side, you can find even more of a stretch and maybe even lift your left hand up high towards the sky. This is a very similar pose to our half moon pose when we're standing and balancing. So it's good to practice these poses in seated positions and modified to truly get the full extension. And gently start to bring your left hand down towards your right foot. Remember to glue your tailbone and your sit bones to the ground. So if you're finding any lift, especially in this left leg, maybe come out of the pose just a tad so that you're feeling the full extension of it. And start to walk your body back up, switching your right foot and inside, and extending your left foot out in front of you. Inhale, lift high towards the sky. Exhale on a twist and release, folding towards your left foot or your left shin, whatever is available. There's a couple different positions you can reach for. So whether that's really grabbing for your left shin, you can also grab for your left toes and hook them with 2 fingers. It's one way to feel a little bit more support. Or you can even flex your left toes towards your face. And if it's available, might be a little bit early, but you can also do the bind with your fingers on your left foot. Again, really start to pull that right knee towards the ground. You'll find the right back body start to open, and it feels so good. And then maybe even bringing your right hand up towards the sky. Ooh, that opens up a whole another level of things, right? Opening your chest towards the right side wall. I have a tendency to crunch my traps. It's my stress spot, so I have to adjust myself. So if you're like me, if you feel your traps crunch, can you release that crunch? Although you are extending up, so there should be some extension there. And exhale, releasing your right hand back to your left foot. And when you're ready, start to lift yourself back towards the center, moving towards both legs open and straddled. Now you can play with how far apart you want your legs to be. Ultimately, what we're going to try and feel here is a strength and lengthening in your back body of your thighs, so your hamstrings of your left and right foot. So we're going to keep our toes flexed. We're going to keep our legs straddled. And just start here simply by putting your forearms on the ground. Maybe this is as far as you can go, okay, to feel that stretch in your back legs and your hamstrings. If this is too much, you can even micro bend the knees a little bit if you're finding a lot of discomfort. If you're wanting a little bit more challenge, try and walk your hands forward. Again, keeping in mind we want that sit bones to glue. So if you start to feel more lift, bring yourself out of that stretch and not go as deep. Focusing on your inhale, making sure that it matches the length of your exhale. Oftentimes in yin style classes, when you're holding these poses for longer lengths of time, you find yourself ease in a little bit deeper the longer you're holding them. Keeping your energetic body still activated. It can sometimes feel like you're resting in these poses, but we're finding some peace and some comfort in it, right? Being here, the theme, being still. Almost feels like once you settle into the pose and it gets comfortable, just like life, we reach for something a little bit further. Go ahead and start to walk yourself up. Bringing both feet out in front of you, taking your left foot, crossing it over your right leg for a gentle twist. Inhale, both arms go up high towards the sky. Right elbow crosses the left knee for a nice open towards the left side wall. Your left hand goes back behind you for support as a kickstand. Maybe even turning your turning your head towards the left shoulder. And coming out of your twist, start to transition towards your right now. So bring your left leg back over. Right foot goes over the left leg. Toes stay planted towards the front of the wall, so in this front direction. And then inhale, lengthen first. And exhale, left elbow to right knee. Right arm goes back behind you for a gentle twist. And as you first get into these twists, there's a common tendency to want to just yank and pull, right? We want to get there right away, the destination. But when we allow our breath to stretch, right, to twist, we find it much easier to then slowly start to get deeper into our twist, maybe even turning our gaze towards the right. So where should you be feeling this twist? Oftentimes in the core, right? We're feeling it in our side bodies, but also with our legs in front of us like this, We're finding a twist in our upper back, and we also find it in our thigh a little bit, or our outer IT band sometimes, depending how flexible we are. And when you're ready, gently start to come back towards the center, untwisting here. Sweeping our legs behind us, we move into a pigeon pose. Now, if this is your first time getting into pigeon, I encourage to be gentle with this movement, because if you force it, it can definitely cause some pain. So we'll start, and I'm going to ease us into it. Start by coming to a tabletop position. Moving through some hip circles to start to wake up that body. And then tuck your toes and press yourself up into a downward facing dog. Moving to pigeon pose from down dog is probably my favorite to find some space. So this is our first down dog of the class. Making sure to press down through your palms of your hand, engaging all 10 fingers, pressing and lifting away from the mat. Tailbone goes high towards the sky. If your heels aren't touching the mat, that's okay. Finding some lift here. Got navel into spine. Taking your gaze towards the back of your mat, looking at your toes. Bending the knees, lifting the tailbone up towards the sky as if a string is pulling it high, coming up high under your tippy toes, straightening your legs, and then gently releasing your heels closer to the ground or towards your mat. Soften your face. Match each inhale with each exhale. And just when you want to rush through this, we'll start to transition. So to get into pigeon pose, we'll start with the right side body. Inhale your right leg back behind you. Exhale, start to bring your right knee towards your right elbow. Coming high onto your tippy toes of your left foot. Start to place your knee in a diagonal position so that your right knee kind of comes towards the right outside of your wrist. In a traditional pigeon pose, they'll teach for this right leg to be parallel. May not happen in this lifetime. That's okay. As our left leg stays straight behind us, gently release your left knee towards the ground, untuck your left toes, and maybe even sometimes inching your left leg a little bit farther down the mat, as you can see through my movements there. And you'll find this nice diagonal shape of your right leg. Make sure that it feels comfortable on your right hip, in a sense that you shouldn't feel any pinching or pain, maybe a little bit of stretch, right? And we're feeling the stretch in the right glute, right hip flexors. Your toes almost point towards the left back of the mat. And when you're ready, you can start to get a little bit deeper into this pose by gently allowing yourself to melt towards the floor. So maybe you start now by coming to your forearms. Maybe this isn't that bad and you're ready to just completely melt your chest towards the mat. Turn your gaze to whatever direction feels more comfortable for me. I like to turn my head towards the right. You need to adjust so that you feel more of that stretch. You can always bring this right leg a little bit higher. As you can see, I'm kind of inching it higher. If you're using blocks and you're trying to get a little bit more support, one of the cool things you can do is actually put a block under that right hip. I'll especially use that block more so for balancing and pigeon when I'm getting in and out. If you're really looking for more of a quad stretch, you can go ahead and lift yourself up to your palms. Start to bend, and this might be a little bit challenging, but try it, right? Bend your left leg, and then see if you can reach back for your toes. For a nice quad stretch in the left leg. Ooh, this feels so good. Again, the block under the right leg is really helpful for this type of pose to help with balancing if you can't quite get that right glute down towards the ground because of the positioning. For my advanced practitioners out there, you can even move into mermaid pose if that's within your practice and you feel ready. It's a beautiful, beautiful pose. You can inhale that arm up and start to connect here. Okay, we've had enough. Go ahead and release your left leg straight to the ground if you were playing with a different variation. And we're gonna shake this out. So go ahead and press your palms, bring your left and right palm to the mat, tucking your left toes so that your left knee hovers off the ground. You might have to jump in a little bit from that left foot. And then pressing your upper back, right? This is a very much cat-like back. We're finding the pressure come off our right leg. And then we're going to bring that right leg up high towards the sky in three-legged downward facing dog. Bending the right knee to really open up that right hip. If Wild Thing is within your practice, go ahead. Otherwise, you can meet in downward facing dog. Feel the difference between your left and your right leg now that we've gone through pigeon on the right side. Inhale, left leg goes high towards the sky. Exhale, bringing your right knee outside your left knee outside of your left elbow. And slowly transitioning into pigeon on the left side. Interesting, you might feel a little bit different stretch on each side body. Your left and right are not created equal. And so for me personally, I'm feeling this more on the inner thigh than I was on my other right side. And so it's interesting what you can learn about your body. Again, taking this to whatever height that you need, relaxing your face, relaxing the need to clench or hold tight. If you're looking for a little bit more activation, play with how your toes are. Can we flex them? Turns on a little bit something different. If you're looking for a little bit more fun, you can go ahead and start to transition by pressing yourself up through your palms, bending into your right knee now. Again, if you need some more stability on that, because my left doesn't quite reach the ground, I can use that block for extra support. Inhale high further to the sky for some length, and then reaching back towards my nice quad stretch on my right side. If you took mermaid pose on the other side, go ahead and move through that. And gently start to transition back, remove the block or any support that you have. Pause here, pressing your palms, maybe even rounding the top portion of your back like that cat-like back that we talked about. Tucking your right toes, lifting your right knee off the ground, pressing into the mat. Inhale, lifting your left leg high towards the sky. Ooh, feels good to release. Bending at the left knee. Again, if Wild Thing is in your practice, we'll go ahead and transition here. If not, we'll meet in Down Dog. Stretching out your calf muscles here in Downward Facing Dog. Finding a longer Down Dog. So maybe really lengthening out onto your mat. Holding it here for a couple breaths. Gently release yourself to your knees. And then coming up high as we move into a gate pose, bringing your left leg out towards the side. Toes can be naturally pointing towards the top left of your mat. Inhale, both arms go up high over. Now pulling your left wrist towards the right side. Finding some space in the left ribs. Pulling that navel into spine, maybe twisting open your chest towards the left wall. And then exhale, release. Planting your palms down, making your left palm go right in front of your nose or right below it, and then find a gentle twist towards the right. Now this is a little bit more challenging, right? Because we've got our body opening towards the right side and our thigh and inner thigh is pulling towards the left. So just be gentle. And exhale, release. Switching out our legs here, bringing your left foot in and bringing that right foot out towards the side for a gate pose. Inhale, arms go up over high. Now pulling your right wrist towards the left side, opening up your chest. And then releasing both palms down towards the ground, taking your right palm right below your nose. And inhale, gentle twist open towards the left side wall. And then release. Transitioning to our backs here as we finish up the last couple poses of class today. If there's any pose that's calling you, I welcome you to do that and kind of use this time here to move towards them. If not, we're going to move towards ball pose. So bringing both knees into your chest, gently roll back towards your back. Grabbing for the outer edges of your foot, moving towards happy baby, keeping your knees bent, gluing your tailbone down towards the mat. Energetically pulling your feet closer in towards your chest. Finding a nice opening stretch in the pelvis, in the hips. If you want, you can massage out that lower back. Maybe straightening out one leg and then bending into the other one, straightening your opposite. Bringing both knees into your chest, grabbing for your wrist, pulling your forehead into your knees, squeezing as tight as you can. Big inhale and squeeze. Exhale, release, opening up into Shavasana. Planting your palms down on the mat or the floor, allowing your armpits to open, allowing yourself to take some space, on your toes to just kick out to the side, your heels maybe fall in. Feeling the earth connect to the back of your head. You need to adjust, flattening your top and upper back so that your shoulder blades can rest comfortably beneath you, feeling supported. Notice how you feel in comparison to the beginning of class. Maybe you started to let go of the need to want, to push, to grow, to get more, to earn more, to do more. Maybe you just started to accept where you were in the moment. Spend however long you want into Shavasana, staying here, staying in this moment. Take the time to Be fully present in your life, no matter what season or challenge you're going through. While goals can be exciting and ignite passion and a desire for happiness outside of yourself, never let that steal the current moment that you are in. Thank you so much for coming to practice today and to move our bodies and connect. Happy Nurses Week. Thank you for showing up for yourself. It is one of the boldest, most courageous things we can do in our profession. The light and energy in me honors and respects the light and energy in you. Namaste.